Hi there, this is Penelope. I'm just going to go over question 19 for assignment 1, MG5004. Now we have that y equals vt minus a half gt squared, and we're also told x equals ut. What would be really good is if we could rearrange x equals ut to find t and put it into there. So t equals x over u. So now we're going to put that into here. So y equals v times x over u. So I'm actually wanting to write it. So I've got v times x over u. What I really want is to show an x term. So I'm going to move it and write it as v over u times x. And then I'm going to write, I want to write a half g, which would be g over 2. And I want t squared, which is x squared. So t squared is x squared over u squared. But again, I want to show that there's an x squared term there. So I'm going to put my u squared on the bottom and then x squared like that. So I've just done that by substitution. And you can already see that that is a parabola. And it's a parabola with a negative x squared term, so it's going like that. Okay, now what we need to do is we do need to do a certain amount of rearranging of that, and the rearranging is probably not immediately obvious as to what you do. Now, I talked about in class, I talked about completing the square. And if we're going to complete the square, we need it to look like a times x plus, and this is just the formula, plus c minus b squared over 4a. And that would be rewriting y. And a is just the x squared term, and b is the x term, just in the normal sort of quadratic stuff. So that means then that a is going to be negative g over 2u squared, and b is going to be the x coordinate, which is coefficient, is v over u. So we're just going to follow the pattern, just going to write that in, so that y is going to be equal to negative g over 2u squared times x, and then b, and b is v over u, and it's got to be then over, what's it got to be over? It's got to be over 2a, and 2a is 2 times negative g. So it should be a plus in that bracket, because we've got a negative g, it would be then a negative negative, so it will be a plus in there. Sorry, it would be a plus, now it's a minus in there. And we've got 2a, so it's 2g over 2u squared. That's got to be squared. So I'm just following the rule. Now, plus c, there is no constant term, so we can say that that's plus 0. And then it's going to be minus b squared, which is v squared over u squared, over Now we've got to do it over 4a, but a is negative, so it should be minus, so we're going to make it plus over 4 times a. So that's 4 times g over 2u squared. Wow. Okay. Wonder if I can fit that in there. I think I can. Now, so that's equal to, right, negative g over 2u squared times x. Now the cancellation, we're going to flip the bottom fraction, so it's going to be 2u squared over 2g. Maybe if I do this in 2 steps, so it'd be v over u times 2u squared over 2g, and that's squared, and then the second term becomes v squared over u squared times 2u squared over 4g. And we can do some cancelling there. Let's see, we can get a red pen. So we can cancel the 2 and the 2. We can cancel the u and one of the u's out of u squared. And the bottom line, I can cancel the u squared and the u squared, and I can cancel the 2 over the 4 and make it 2. Right, I'll put that on the next slide, I think. So I'll just repeat that last line. So we got as far as saying y equals negative g over 2u squared times x minus uv over g squared plus v squared over 2g. Now it's not normal to write it like that. It's more normal to write it with your, not with a subtraction sign to start with. Like that. Okay, the maximum is going to occur when this bit is 0. And that occurs, so x minus uv over g is going to equal 0, so x equals uv over g at the max. And then if that is 0, then the max is v squared over 2g, because the right hand side is 0, therefore the left hand side must be the maximum. So the maximum is v squared over 2g, and that occurs when x is uv over g. As to what it looks like, well, it's a parabola, and it's going to go up like that, and at the maximum y is equal to v squared over 2g, and x is equal to uv over g, and by symmetry you can see the range is going to be twice that, so it would be 2uv over g. Now, if you remember any calculus, you could have done that by differentiating, but we're not going to at this stage. Okay, so that's question 19.